Saving money will not get you to riches, neither will cutting back on your expenses. If you don't even make enough to cover your monthly expenses or you're barely getting by, how are you going to be able to cut back on those necessities? You can't. You obviously can't. You need to figure out a way to do so. And in this video, I'm going to teach you 5 different ways on how you can achieve wealth, riches beyond that you can imagine. The reason why I said you can't become rich by saving money is because if you don't have the money, you won't be able to save anything. You're literally just paying the bills just to get by. How do you expect to save anything if you only have enough to cover your monthly expenses? The next thing is people online will tell you reduce your monthly expenses. How can you reduce if you're only spending on your needs? Maybe cutting back on your groceries a bit or buying cheaper items, but doing that will not get you to the riches that you desire. What you need to do is one of these 5 things. And at the end, I'm going to give you a bonus for staying to that. So the first thing is for you to increase the money that you're making is trade your time for money. What is that? Work another job. Work a second job. With working a second job, it's great, but you're capped at the amount of hours that you can work and also the amount of money you can make per hour. For example, if you're a mechanic, like if you get paid say $90 an hour, if you don't work that hour, you don't get paid that $90. You're trading your time for money. You can become rich, but you'll be giving up your time. The next thing that you can do, you can sell a product or a service. Now, I like products and services because with a product, you only have to create it once and then you never have to create it again. For example, an ebook, a app. These are things that you create once and then you don't have to create them again. These are really good, but the investment in creating a product or a service could be high in the beginning. But over time, it will pay itself off if you have the right product that people are searching for. Another thing that you can do is you can sell a skill or a service. If you have a service-based business, like consultation, you can charge per the hour. Same thing with a skill. So you have a skill, you make websites for people, you're a photographer, you take pictures. These are all skills and services that you can trade for money. But with that, what comes is you have to, once again, trade your time for money. Yes, you can hire people to do it, but then you get into the management of other people, and then if they flop, then you're gonna have to do the work, right? I'm giving you the pros and cons for each of these things that I mentioned, just to not sugarcoat anything, just so that you know what comes with the territory. Another thing that you can do is teach. What is teaching involved? You can teach in person, and we live in the day and age of technology, so you can teach online. You can create a course. You can teach virtually, whatever you want to do. With teaching online, it works great because, again, it's like creating a product. You just do it once and then you have it online and people can watch it at their own pace whenever they want to. One problem with that, there's a lot of people in that space that's doing that as well. You're going to have to think of how do you make your teaching style different, or what you're teaching different from everybody else. That's one thing that you need to think about. And the 5th thing that you could do is you can move up the corporate ladder. If you work in a Fortune 500 company or a company that's really big. For me, when I was working a corporate job, I started off as a temporary hire for somebody that was, I believe they were sick. And I was there for like a couple of weeks. And when I was there, I made the most of it. I really showed these guys that I like what I'm doing. I'm good at what I do. And lo and behold, they hired me. I went from being a temporary worker to a full-time worker. And as positions became open, I applied for them. I went from a desk position to a totally different department. I moved up the ladder, pay grade got higher, responsibilities got bigger. That's another thing that you can do as well, move up the corporate ladder. But with the corporate ladder, there comes politics. Again, you're trading your time for money. And there's nothing against any of these 5 things that I mentioned. I just want to keep it real with you guys, showing you both sides of the coin. But the best way to help you build your wealth and riches, think like a business owner. Buy income producing assets. What do you mean income producing assets? I mean buying stuff that generate income for you. Let your money do the hard work for you. You use that money and you invest it in something that gives you a return, a monthly return, a quarterly return, an annual return, whatever it may be. For example, you could invest into a business or start a business where you do private loans for people that need a second mortgage. It's a very good business, so people need either money to close so they get a second mortgage, or they're looking to renovate their house. They would come to you for a loan. You put a lien on their house to secure your money, and every month they pay you, or at the end of the term they pay you, or you collect everything up front and then they pay you the lump sum at the end. There's many different ways that you could be doing. Another thing that you could do, you can buy into someone's business. For example, Shark Tank. These guys buy into other people's businesses. They come with their idea, they like their idea. They say, okay, I'll purchase whatever it is that you're offering to be a part of your company, and I'll help you with XYZ. That's something that you could also do as well. Another thing that you can do is buy quality companies in the stock market, the top 500 companies in America, and that's called the S&P 500. So you can Google S&P 500 companies, and it'll give you a list of all 500 companies that pretty much make up America's economy. You can invest in one of those, but I recommend you do your research before putting money into them. That's something that you can invest in. You can invest in a company that shares the money that they make with the people that own a piece of their company. What I just explained was, if you purchase a share, imagine having a pie like this, and they say, for a piece of this pie, we want $10. They say, okay, fine, I'll take one slice for $10, please. So because you have that slice of the pie, they say every quarter we're gonna give you a piece of what we made from the other pies that we sell, or something of that nature. Because you did that, they share their profits with you. Now, it's not much, but don't look at the dollar value that you're receiving, because if you buy a lot over time, guess what happens? That little bit of money that you're making becomes a lot over time. You can purchase stocks in the stock market. They give you a piece of their profits, which is called dividends. Another thing that you could do is real estate. And there's two ways you can get into real estate. You can buy real estate through the stock market, which is called a REIT, which is Real Estate Investment Trust. What that is, a company buys a bunch of properties and they share the income that they make with the people that own their stocks. So that's one way you can do it. Or you can do it the traditional way, like what I do. I purchase property and I rent it out. So that way I receive rental income. Rental income is what you call passive income. It's income you do not have to work for. There's many different ways to build wealth, but the best way to build wealth is thinking like a business owner. Take the money that you make and put it into income producing assets. So if you remember the first 5 things that I mentioned earlier, that's trading your time for money, creating a product or service, your skills, teaching people, or moving up the corporate ladder. Whatever it is that you choose, what you want to do is at least take 10% of what you make, put it into something that's gonna produce more money for you. Now it's like you're creating little soldiers to make you more money. Imagine having 1,000 little soldiers giving you money every month based on the money you invested. That's crazy. But there's people out there doing that. Warren Buffett put money into Coca-Cola since he was a young adult, or a young teen, I believe, and he makes almost like 9 figures from Coca-Cola every quarter. So imagine getting $600 million from Coca-Cola every quarter. To wrap up this video, saving is not going to bring you the wealth, and neither is cutting back your spending. You're going to have to increase your income. If you do all 3 of these things, you will be in a great position. And if you found value in this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you can stay up to date when I drop videos like this on a daily basis. And thank you for tuning in to the Learn Podcast, where first you learn, then you drop the L, and then you earn. And I've left a link up above for you to watch previous episodes of the Learn Podcast. So make sure you click the link up above so that you can get more knowledge like this